Hello, hello, welcome. Happy Sunday, happy 111. Hope everybody is doing well. Had a beautiful weekend. We got a lot of snow here. Well, not a lot, but like a pretty big, like first kind of big snowfall of the winter, which is kind of crazy since it's like mid January. But it was so beautiful in the morning. I got up early and went outside, and the air was so crisp and everything was covered in white. And it was just, there was like this stillness, and it was so beautiful. Kind of like just the sun had just risen. And yeah, it just like really was a peaceful feeling. And what I noticed in that was my ability to really be present and like notice that. Because if I had woken up and been in my head, maybe I would have walked outside and it would have just felt cold. But I was really able to appreciate the beauty and the snow-covered mountains and the snow. My whole driveway was like covered in snow, untouched snow until of course I drove, but it was so beautiful. And so just really inviting in, it's something so small, but like really inviting in like the senses and the awareness as we move through life. When we wake up and we look outside, or we hear the birds chirping, or we see the snow, or we see the sun, really taking a moment to appreciate, what is present for us. And this can really just support us in our day, in our wellness, in our joy. And this isn't like to bypass if like things are chaotic or anything like that, but this is also just to like bring in some of that, the peacefulness. Peace is something that's cultivated on the inside. Freedom is something that's cultivated on the inside. And we can think like, once we have this thing, or we accomplish this thing, or we do this, or whatever it is, then we're going to feel this certain way. But that's actually not true. Those things might help, but really the sensation and the feeling and the embodiment is on the inside. And I've felt moments of freedom when my bank account has been barely anything, and I have been living out of my van, and I have been, like in a place in nature. And like this sense of freedom feels kind of euphoric and blissful and like peaceful inside, and I didn't need a lot of things to feel that, and of course, like having the things like do support, maybe like some more easeful things or ability to like travel or see places, things like that. But we also can really support the joy on the inside and the happiness on the inside with wherever we're at in our lives. So I just wanted to bring that forward because I've just been really appreciating the snow after not having the snow for a while, and kind of like not even really looking forward to winter. And it was like the first day I walked outside and I'm like, wow, I really want to go snowboarding today. And I didn't, but it's kind of like this spark inside of me that I feel like wasn't there for a little while. That was like reignited by like the beautiful snowfall. And yeah, so just like really, really allowing myself to settle in to life. And, I'm in the magical land of Taos, New Mexico. And it's really interesting. People ask me, oh, how do you like Taos? And my response is like, it's interesting. And I say this because, I've lived a lot of places, and mostly in Colorado, but I've lived in Northern Virginia and in Delaware and in California. And, Taos it's kind of like a bigger Crestone. But it's really interesting energy. It's like, I feel like it's teaching me a lot of patience, and patience in like not really a forceful way, but in like a really like settling back and like a really deep trust in like the pulse and the timing of things in a way that sometimes you can't really get when you're like in a busier place, unless you spend maybe a lot of time at home. Um, but there's like so much going on all the time, that you're out and you're about and you're doing things, and that's beautiful. And I think there's rhythms in everything, right? And I'm like, I love that environment too. And this is like, I really like settling back and like allowing myself to see how things unfold without forcing anything, really releasing all of that urgency, the urgency to like make things happen or rush or be a place or do a thing, but kind of settling back and just like almost like waiting to see like what's going to occur. And this doesn't mean I'm not taking action and like following steps or following like the impulses or the guidance. This means that I'm not forcing anything and I'm really like trusting in the timing. If people like don't respond for a couple of days, it's like no problem, right? It's like I'm just like, trusting the time. I'm doing my own thing. I'm doing something else, right? And so listening to that, it's been really interesting networking with different like gyms and yoga studios and things like that, and how some things have manifested and some things like have fallen away. And I'm like, if it's not meant to be, like then it's not going to be, and it's okay. And I don't need to like try and try and push, to create something. It's like, okay, just like let it fall away, and if it's meant to be, like it will come back. And allowing opportunities to come in this way, allowing connections to come in this way, and collaborations to really be inspired and be sparked, because this is how I know they're like true. They're aligned fully with my truth and my divine will. And so that's been a prayer. It's a prayer in the Song of Sophia school that I've been a part of. And the prayer is, what's not in alignment with divine will, please crash it now. And I have this prayer and I say it every day. It's really for like the last year and a half probably. I've been bringing in this prayer, and it's a really important part of my life and living. It's like I really want to be only in connection with divine will, and if it's not aligned, to like let it naturally fall away. And it's a beautiful witnessing to witness how life unfolds with this prayer, and trusting, and there's a greater trust in the mystery. And so yeah, I just wanted to come on here and talk a little bit. I never know what I'm going to talk about. If you have any questions or topics you want me to talk about, or you want to be here live with me, I'm always happy to have comments and questions and feedback and guests. I'm just like so excited to share just like whatever wants to come through, whatever's alive for me, and hope that it supports you and resonates for you in some way, because I'm pretty in tune with like, well, my own energy, but also like the collective energies and like what's kind of occurring. And so I love to come on here and give some words to it, give a voice to it, because sometimes we're in our head and like things are happening and we don't really understand. And then we hear like somebody else's transmission or words, and then like we can actually integrate what's happening in our own experience. So this occurs sometimes, like I'm a sound healer, and I've done many, 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 many sound baths for individuals and groups of people. And sometimes this occurs like in the integration piece when we're sharing at the end, right? Like somebody had an experience and maybe they don't have words or they can't talk. They're kind of still like in that really dreamy state. And then somebody else shares about their experience. And when they share about their experience, that other person, just by listening to that, is able to kind of piece together their own experience, from maybe some inspiration from those words. So for example, I remember one time I was sharing something in a group about like my intentions and stuff, and I had forgotten I was working on like this one piece, this one pattern, and then somebody was sharing their experience with like their dream or something, and it sparked, and I'm like, oh, I've been also working through this thing in my dream. And so kind of like that, it can help us integrate. So coming together and sharing together. And of course, we want to do our work internally as well. But when we really share together in community and in like sacred spaces, that we can really allow ourselves to be vulnerable in a place of non judgment, then this allows us to integrate our experience and helps each other. So we're supporting each other. And it's just really beautiful to be a part of. And this is also what I'm creating in my sanctuary space, Sanctuary for Trauma Awareness. It is for facilitators, specifically for facilitators that already have a modality. But if you don't have a modality, I also teach sound therapy training, and we're also going to just be working on our own somatic practices, channeling. And so, even if you don't have a modality, but you're in the healing space, this could also be for you. And so, in this space, we're really coming together in an intimate container of women and co creating and really sharpening our own skills. So, I'm going to be teaching from a really embodied place, and I'm going to be teaching in trauma informed education, facilitator skills, and really helping to like root into ourselves and our presence and be grounded when we show up for ourselves, our relationships, and our clients, and help our clients expand and soften, and like what that means, and connecting in with the nervous system and our own channel for somatic wisdom, and talking more about integration. I just talked a little bit about integration, but I will be teaching a whole module really um, like cater toward integration and what that even means, and supporting the integration process. Because what I see in the healing space is that, we go and we get these trainings, you in Reiki and breath work and yoga and massage, all the things, and then we go out and we do the sessions, and then our teacher is like long gone generally. I mean, this isn't always the case. And then we don't have anybody to talk about our sessions with when things come up. We're still practicing, in the first 100 sessions, like we're still practicing, really. So things might come up in the sessions, and we're like, oh my gosh, like I don't have anybody to talk to. And so this space I'm creating is to support that. You can come in, you can share about your session, you can have support, I'll ask questions, and you can have an opportunity to process your sessions in a way that feels really supportive. Like I'm not controlling or trying to fix or change anything, but I can just share from my own experience, and it's a place to really be heard and be witnessed and also listen. So if this is interesting for you, to really step into, the next level of your practitioner skills, then we start in March, and I'm happy to share more information. Just send me a DM with Sanctuary or drop a comment. And again, I'm here every week, and this is like my gift to you. So whatever you want me to share or talk about, I'm so happy to be here. Like it brings me so much joy to be here with you. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful Sunday.